Welcome back to the channel. Racer X here, and I'm actually taking a break out of the rain for once here in the Tampa area because I want to answer a question that many of you have been asking me on really Instagram and a lot of other social media platforms, and that's, hey, look, Racer X, why aren't you drag racing anymore? I know that I started my channel and I'm pretty well known as a drag racing guy, and that is where I have my passion, and I've not been drag racing in quite a while. Pretty limited with the Mustang in terms of my drag racing videos. Well, today I'm going to tell you all about why, a little bit of a secret in terms of why I haven't been drag racing this car very much, and perhaps that might change and why that might change. So today's video should be fun and informative. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Follow me on Instagram, and here we go. So for those of you that have been following my channel for a while, you know that I used to own a couple of Mopars, certainly a really fast Hellcat, and also a Scat Pack. You guys have seen me do lots of mod videos, talking about how to make your car faster, what the right setups are, all sorts of stuff like that. And as I mentioned, I've done a lot of drag racing in my time, and I thoroughly enjoy it. Now, one of the things that people are asking me constantly is, look, where'd all the drag racing content go? I love that part of your channel. And to be honest, I've only run this car a couple of times at the drag strip, but there's a couple of reasons why that is. And I got a little bit frustrated with this car. And so obviously this is a twin turbo, twin 64s tucked up underneath the car there. And the setup is actually fantastic on this. It is on full E85. I've got the triple fuel pumps in the car. I mean, it is basically set up ready to go. It's got the big axles. It's got the big drive shaft. It's got the cradle lockout kit. I mean, pretty much everything you would want, except for one crucial thing. And it's the thing that has frustrated me the most about moving to this platform versus like my Hellcat that would come off the line incredibly hard and fast. That car, as big as it was, as heavy as it was, I still got like 139, 140, 60 foots on a fairly regular basis in good air. This car, by contrast, the best 60 foot I have ever had is a 175. And that was only once. Typically, I'm in the 1.8s on the 60 foot. It comes off the line like an absolute dog. And what that means when I'm drag racing, regardless of how good the light is that I cut, and I typically do okay on the light, I've had a lot of practice, regardless of whether it's a pro tree or sportsman's tree, the thing just comes out like a dog. So I'm always playing catch up with a car that actually is not nearly as fast as my car. He got me pretty good. And you got to wait for those turbos to kind of come in and all that kind of stuff. I'm leaving under no boost because I don't have the two-step activated on the car. But today things are going to change a little bit. I got some good stuff from my buddies over at Circle D. Well, actually, let me show you. So here is what I'm talking about. There we go. That is actually a stall converter that was custom made for my car from the guys over at Circle D. I'm really excited to get this in, and they have assured me that this will really help with my 60 foot. And suppose it gets me 2/10 off the line, and I'm even in the 1.5s, that will translate into like 4/10 down the track. And this car has run basically like 990s. But it runs it at over 150 miles an hour. That tells you what kind of back door speed this car actually has. I mean, it is really moving on the top of the track once the turbos get all spooled up. So once we throw this new converter in here, I feel like that is really going to start to show what this car is capable of. And then, of course, we'll activate the two-step as well. And this car will leave under a little bit of boost, and it's going to completely change the game on this car. But that's a big reason why I have not been drag racing, but there are a couple other ones as well. Now, as you can see, I'm still kind of setting up some stuff from my move, so please forgive me. I'm almost done with the garage here, guys. But as you can see, this is my drag pack. Sorry if there's a little bit of echo in the garage. But this is typically the setup that I run on my car like 100% of the time. And you may have noticed I've got those little stock tires on the car, but I do have an issue with this setup as well, and it's really frustrating. And obviously the car needs an alignment, because when you look at my front runners, you can see what's happening with the tires here. I mean, these tires are basically completely hooped, but the outside actually has a lot of tread left, same with the middle. So you can see that from an alignment perspective, it basically, I don't know what was going on with the car, but it needs a race alignment bad. Here is actually the drag radial, the ET Street R 17-inch. This thing really does hook up the car quite nicely. And this one on the right side is actually perfectly fine. But the other wheel here, you can see the tire, it's basically completely hooped. It's worn out on the outside. The other one's doing it just a little bit. So I definitely need to go out and get an alignment for this and get brand new tires. And as you know, these tires are not cheap. So it is another reason that I've not been out drag racing. I got to get brand new tires, and I just moved, guys, so keep that in mind. So it is expensive to actually move, very expensive actually to move halfway across the country, and so I've not been able to get new tires for the drag pack. That's another thing I need to get before I race. So here is the other little bummer when it comes to drag racing. Now, when I was in Dallas, we really had two tracks that I would frequent. We had an 8th mile track called XRP, or Extreme Raceway Park. And I did not like to take the Mustang out there because it was such a dog out of the hole. I just didn't have enough room to catch up in the 8th. And I ended up just getting really frustrated no matter how good the light was that I caught. It just, oh, it was maddening. So also in the quarter mile, we had Ennis, which is Texas Motorplex, and that is actually a really good track sometimes, depends on how it's prepped, but they were always closed. That's an NHRA track, and they were always closed for big events, and it was just kind of hard to get out there. And then of course, working through a couple issues with my tune as well. And as I mentioned, always coming so slow off the line, I feel like the car is capable of being so much faster ET-wise. So there's that. But here in Tampa, really the main drag strip here is Bradenton Motorsports Park. And that park is actually closed. That track is actually closed for renovations, and it won't be open, I believe, until next month. So in the next month, I definitely need to get my act together. I need to get that stall converter put in the car, maybe get the two-step activated, and get some new tires. And hopefully in August, you guys will start seeing me put out a lot more drag strip content, and we can really start to show what that thing can do, even turned down at 12 PSI. And we all know how much power that car will make when it's turned all the way up, but I still feel like that thing is going to run some really incredible times. So I guess we'll wait and see. Now, one other thing that actually kind of sucks is the fact that, yes, I did just move to the Tampa area from Dallas, and here the weather is pretty darn unpredictable. So I end up keeping these little pizza cutter 235 tires on the car basically all the time. I mean, truth is, it rains like 6 times a day here. 1 minute it'll be perfectly sunny like this, 5 minutes later, torrential downpour. And the last thing you want is to get caught with your drag pack on the car. Those tires do not do well in the rain, and I do not want to end up in a ditch. But then, of course, you have the added problem of having well over 1,000 horsepower in a car that's sitting on 235 hard street tires. And here is actually a nice little straightaway. I'm going to illustrate what I mean. Oh, jeez. Not a good idea. So anyway, guys, that is really several reasons why I haven't been to the drag strip very much. You've not seen a lot of drag strip content from me. Believe me, guys, it's coming. I can't wait to show you what this car is still really capable of. I mean, this thing is an absolute rocket. I haven't taken any weight out of the car as of yet, so still a lot of plans for this car, and I can't wait for you guys to be able to follow me along on this journey as this thing continues to get faster and faster, one step at a time. So stick with me here, guys. It's coming. Let me know what you think about it in the comments down below, and I'll catch you on the next one. So until then, Racer X.